full-service entertainment company dedicated to taking your project to the next level. With our tailored video packages, we can meet your unique needs and exceed your expectations. Are you looking for an entry-level package? Our bronze video package starts at just $100. It includes 4K and 1080p resolution, with the option to add titles and editing at an additional $20 Zers per hour for a step up. Our silver video package is perfect, starting at $300. It offers the same resolution options and allows you to add transitions and basic plugins for just $20 Zers per hour. If you're looking for something even more extraordinary, our gold video package is the way to go. Starting at $650, it includes advanced plugins and 5K rendering for those high-quality productions. The additional cost for advanced plugins and rendering is $20 per hour. For the ultimate video experience, our Platinum Video Package has it all. Starting at $950, you'll get mastered video audio with filters, plugins, transitions, and edits. And yes, it's all included for just an additional $20 per hour. Looking to capture breathtaking aerial footage? Our Sky Package features 3 minutes of aerial video for a price of $350. But that's not all. We also offer camera and film production options with various resolution choices such as 1080p, 4K, 5, 3K, and 6K. And don't worry about post-mastering, it's included. Experience the magic of Seventh Sun Entertainment and unleash your greatness. Book your package today and let us bring your dreams to life. Seventh Sun Entertainment, your greatness awaits.
Hello, guys. Welcome to the Gag-Order. I am one of the hosts tonight. My name is Elisha, and I'm going to be joined with my other hosts, Jinx and Keya, which will be joining us in a few.
Hello.
Hi, guys. And now I'm going to have Jinx go ahead and let us know what our topic will be for tonight.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, thanks again for joining us for the Gag-Order. And tonight we are going to talk about expectations, the weight of expectations, and exploring the pressures to conform. There's always these pressures, and it becomes a lot. I mean, everything from family to gender to society, personal, otherwise. So we're going to touch on all of that tonight. And I'm very interested to hear everybody's opinions on this topic. And our audience members, if y'all watching and you got questions or comments, please chime in. We definitely want to interact with y'all and make sure that, everybody's gaining something out of this, because that's what we're here for. So let's talk about these expectations, ladies. I want to start first with society, because I feel like that is that's like the main factor. It really is, because society really does dictate how a lot of people move, and to me it's sad, because I feel like nobody should really be able to put any type of expectations on you other than somebody that's personally close to you or within business. But society to me is the biggest thing. So I would like to know, Miss Keya, how you doing tonight? You doing good? You doing all right?
Hey, Jane. I don't know. I'm trying to figure it out.
All right. Well, when you figure it out, let me know. But tonight I want to know, what do you feel are some of the biggest expectations society places upon us?
Physical appearance.
Definitely. That's a big one. I think everything.
And I think your jobs do too.
What was that?
I think your jobs do too.
Jobs definitely, I believe, have, their own expectations, because it's a business. Obviously, they trying to run a business, and they want things to run smoothly, so they need people to perform in a certain way. But in society, I feel like they shouldn't be able to dictate that at all in any way. How we perform, how we mold ourselves into whatever it is we need to be. Society, I believe, has mainly because of social media really taken over people's views upon themselves and others. So I feel like it shouldn't be that way. It really shouldn't. And I personally don't know how to change that other than to try and instill in my children like you don't need to be like them. You don't want to be like them. What they're doing is not cool. What you see on TV is not what real life is about. Like it's hard to kind of separate that, especially with younger kids. So to me, it's like the main thing we can do to try and keep these kids from conforming is to keep informing them about what is right and wrong, what's real and what's not real.
Yeah, I feel
Elisha,
like with the younger kids, it comes to the video games.
yeah, that's a big one too.
That's
Definitely.
a very big one.
Elisha, what are your thoughts on this
I
society
mean,
and
I agree with you both. I think it's very um, hard actually because since I'm a single mom and bringing up my son and he's always on the internet, so it's like for me to compare him and trying to make sure he doesn't to making sure he be himself is kind of hard for that type of thing because you got to look at how he's seeing people live because they're putting up this front. It's a whole big process. So you got to like really learn how to. I don't know. I'm not going to say learn. I said the way I do it is I try to let him be himself, and I try to motivate him to not follow everyone else that's doing things.
that's so hard in today's world. I know it. I feel it. I've been through it. I got my oldest, she 24, and I got a 13-year-old, and the difference between the two, just in that 11-year gap, is mind blowing to me, because I remember when she was going through it, I was like, things are so much different than when I was younger, and now it's like, I think to an extent, society has always put that pressure to really that physical appearance, like he was talking about, to hold up your physical appearance, to be a certain size, to be a certain shape, you know. And then, of course, you've got the whole divisive world that we live in that, want to try and define what shade of human is the most beautiful, or, that's a whole nother topic. But I mean, that in itself is also part of the societal expectations. Like, they the outside world wants you to appear to be grand and luxurious and successful and everything wonderful, but they don't never want people to really you know explore what's not wonderful about themselves, and they don't implore people to be them best selves. They implore people to be something other than what they are. And I feel like that's a big part of society being, you know, a a source of pressure on people. People people are so, I don't know, I can't find the right words right now. I'm sorry, y'all. Um,
I'm not going to say gullible, not
I mean, a lot of folks are, but let's be real.
easy. I mean, easy to influence. I mean, it's a big way we could go at that, like a whole
Yeah,
big way. And I think it's more systematic too. I think it's a ploy, to be honest with you. I think the whole way everything is promoting on social media and the way they're controlling what we could post and what we can't post and what direction it's going, I think it's a whole concept of a ploy to control things.
I agree. I definitely agree. Kia, you got any other thoughts? He looked like he was about to say something a minute ago.
If I was, I can't remember exactly what it was.
My bad. Feel free to gag me at any time. Be like, hold up,
No, no,
you
it wasn't
know.
a need to gag. No, it wasn't a need to gag. I like saying the gag part, so if I have to, I will, but it wasn't necessary.
I know that's right. Nah, but it's to me it feels like it's a lot. I remember being a teenager. I remember, seeing things that appeared, everything that glitter ain't gold. You know what I mean? That's that old saying that I've heard since I was a child. And everything that look good ain't good. Everything you think is good for you ain't good for you. And society got a habit of trying to place unrealistic expectations on people, and that essentially, in my eyes, just makes people feel even worse about themselves if they don't measure up, quote unquote. Like, it's
No, I know
acceptable
what I
to
was
me.
saying.
Yeah, go ahead, girl.
All right, so like I feel like, well, me personally, I feel like in my personal experience, when it comes to like society experience,
I know it's some big words.
society
Auntie.
expectation. My bad, y'all. I'm tripping. My bad. So
No,
when it comes to society expectations, my personal opinion is like I got it the hardest from my grandmother, like the older generation.
mm-hmm,
Like I got it the hardest from my grandparents. Like I always thought that I just was gonna get teased a lot in school. I always expected to get teased a lot in school. But it was always my grandmother for me.
mm,
Like it was always an expectation. So you can get up in the morning, you can go in the bathroom, do your morning routine, you can get in the shower, you can get dressed. If you do not comb your hair or she ain't see you put a comb to your hair, you ain't ready for your day. Why is you coming out the house? Like my grandmother okay, a couple years ago when we went through this pajama phase during the daytime. Like everybody started coming outside with their pajama pants on, like it was an actual outfit.
mm.
So um like I was never allowed to do that. Like when I say I would get yelled at for trying to walk outside with some pajamas to go to the mailbox, like it was a World War VII event going on in my house, all to go to the mailbox. So I'm like, I think the hardest that I had was my grandmother for the society expectations. I ain't really never really cared, really paid attention to what everybody else had going on. As long as my clothes was clean and I matched, I was good. I ain't care about nothing else. Like that was that. I wasn't hard to please.
Yeah, I get that. I get that. But like the same with my grandmother, it was, you don't have to look perfect. Your clothes are clean, you're good to go. Like my grandmother grew up in the depression. So for me buying fly clothes was not even an option. It was like I got my sister's hand me downs. Sometimes I got my brother's hand me downs. Like we had money, but my grandmother was very, very frugal. Like she was not caring what the styles was. She was not caring what sneakers I liked. She was not caring about any of that. And I mean, essentially, that led me down a road to eventually, I'm gonna just go get my own money any way I can do it, which was a horrible, horrible thing as a child. But it helped mold my life and I appreciate it. But my grandmother always instilled in me not to care about what nobody else thought, how anybody else perceived me. All that mattered what was in my heart. So like I held that close, and I think that falls into family and personal and cultural as well, which we're going to explore all aspects of these expectations that the world be throwing at us and we be putting on ourselves, because let's be real, we we allow these things to resonate within us. We allow them to alter how we move sometimes, and I think that the society expectations is definitely one of the bigger ones that affects us in a negative way. Definitely.
It does. It does. And I think I could tell by where it comes with my son and certain like haircuts he want to do, certain things that he wants to wear. And I try my best to try to teach him to be himself and not to follow people. And you have to get your own identity sometimes. And that's kind of
Mhm.
hard when you have a boy.
Yeah. Well,
'Cause-
it's hard. It's hard for the girls too. My 13-year-old struggles. She changes up her style every time she sees somebody with something else, and I'm like, nah, girl, we ain't doing all that. You need to figure out what you comfortable with, what you like. Don't worry about them. And it's hard. It really is. These kids
it
are
is.
in a
It's very,
world.
very hard.
They definitely in a different world. I mean, we cared about it for a little bit, but we didn't. It wasn't so urgent and so immediate, and kids weren't so easily influenced. We all had our own style, and we all had our own personal expression. Like everybody had their own way about them, their own thing. Like you would know somebody by like, okay, that's such and such that always wear one pant leg up. That's such and such that always got different colors in her hair. You know what I mean? Like everybody had their own thing to an extent. And now it just feels like everybody trying to do the same thing. Everybody want to be these same idols that the world shows us. And to me, it's like we've lost a lot of our individuality. And I think we've also lost a lot of our own sense of self worth. How do y'all think? Am I bugging? Like, is that, does that
No,
make
I
sense to
mean,
y'all?
I was going when this whole social media thing started and everything, of course, I got into that feeling of I had to get a big butt. I had to make sure I look good and a lot of makeup and stuff like that. So I do understand how it's very society makes you and social media makes you very uncomfortable sometimes. I really do. But if you really not one with yourself and really start really accepting who you are, then that's another problem. You know what I mean? And I had that problem too. I couldn't accept who I was at first because I wanted to be like everybody else. But then I had to realize that it's not always about that. You got to make sure you start beginning to like who you are and accept what God gave you. And that's the main thing to me.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Agree. Kia, what you think? I mean, you're younger too, so I
All right.
would definitely. I want your point of view. Like, do you think that you know? Do you think that society does pressure young people to conform?
I think they do, and I don't know. I don't know. I really don't have no real opinion on this one because like I've always been the real open minded one, so like I never really cared. You know what I mean? Like I was taught not to. Nobody else's opinion matters except for yours. It's all about how you feel about yourself. Like nothing that nobody can say to you that should make you feel any other way about yourself. That's that. Like so I grew up different. Like I'm one of the kids where you could literally walk up to me and say anything. Like you could talk, oh girl, what kind of shoes you got on? Like a a pair that my feet not on the ground with. Like what do you mean? Like well, they not name brand. Okay, I don't need name brand. Like you know what I mean? Like I was that kid. It never really mattered. I didn't care. Like as long as I had something on, it didn't matter to me. Like you can't. It was nothing that you could say. Like you could say, "Oh, your shirt's ugly." Okay, cool. I like it.
Yeah,
Like, and that was even me as a kid. Like, you know what I mean? Oh, your hair is ugly. Well, it's long. It's real. Like, I always had something to say, and it just I don't care. Like, I will always start it off with "I don't care."
that's what's
So
up.
I know they
A lot.
conform. I do believe that it definitely puts pressure on them, but I don't. I guess it really just depends on how their parents teach them to believe in themselves or like believe in like how they feel about themselves and their self confidence.
That's
Absolutely.
true. That's true.
That's that's what it all
That's
boils
true.
down to. I believe. You're right. You're dead right. You are blessed to have had people that cared for you, that really instilled those things in you. That's an absolute blessing. A lot of these kids don't have that. They they grew up in the era of stick a phone or a tablet in their face. They grew up in the era of watching TV every day, all day, instead of just Saturday mornings. So
The
society
good
did
old
it.
days.
Society
The
like it,
good
when I
old
was a
days.
kid, all you could do, you got your Saturday morning cartoons, and sometimes you was able to watch Wheel of Fortune in the evening or a National Geographic show. Like my
Yep.
grandmother did not play that TV shit. Nah, not at all. So it's different. It's a totally different time. And I
It's
think
a
that
lot going on. You can't even do that now. And the kids getting really violent when you take their electronics away. That's really bad. It's really
oh
bad.
yeah. I've seen my 2 year old grandson and my 4 year old granddaughter bug out when my daughter takes their electronics, and I just look at them like, "Excuse me, what's wrong with you?" No, ma'am, I don't think so. Mimi will take this whole thing away forever. Don't play with me. Like, and these kids, these kids are, I don't know, like it's like that influence is so strong, so them expectations come right with it, and we don't even sometimes see it or notice it. It's just like almost embedded in us to an extent. It really is. It's sad though.
It is sad. And it's hard for us to as parents to really try to maneuver around that situation. And I do it. I try my best a lot to change that because I really don't want my son to be swaddled into this thing. All my grandchildren. It's kind of hard with the grandkids because when your kids tell you that's my children, that's it. You can't even say too much.
Yeah, can't do nothing. I know.
But at least I got one rule. When they come in my house, it's all rules
Mm,
applies to what I
that's
say.
right.
So at least I got that.
That's right. That's dear right. I know that's right. No, but I mean, talking about family, I definitely want to switch and shift the conversation to cultural expectations. Each one of us have a different heritage, a different background. We all have family traditions. We all have expectations within our family. I want to know if you all would like to share with me anything within your family that you feel is like a expectation, something that either you absolutely love and want to abide by, or something that you can't stand, and it just be irking your nerves because your mom or your auntie, your uncle be doing it, and you're like, I'm done. And they expect you to conform to an extent. Like, no, you should be doing this too. So I want to know, Miss Elisha, why don't you go first, girl? Because
I
Kia
think
way
Keya wanted to go first. She was all excited over there. She's like this. Hey.
All right, yeah, yeah, you're right, you're right. Go ahead, Kia, hit that.
All right, so first off, let's just start off with I'm very happy that my grandparents are older and do not know how to operate technology like this, okay? So I'm gonna start with that because they would be on me like white on rice right now for this, what I'm about to say. So
Mm.
my grandparents is old timey. They believe that you have to go to church in order to hear the word or like in order to understand what be going on and stuff like that. I come from a Christian background, so they automatically just feel like Sunday you gotta be in church. Now, I grew up at that house with my grandparents. When I say they up at 6:30 in the morning, we getting up at 7 in the morning. Got to be at church by 8:15. Church don't really start till 11 a.m. But mind you, we had to do Sunday school at 9:15. The service started at 11. Then we had to take a break around 2, and then had to go back at 4 for the evening service.
Mm-hmm.
Monday nights we was at the church. Wednesday nights we was at the church. Friday nights we was at the church. And Saturday mornings we was at the church for choir rehearsal, dance rehearsal, and everything else.
That's
I
that's a,
can sit in my car and be on YouTube and listen to any pastor online that I feel as though speaks to me and it resonates with my soul, and I will be fine and content. And my grandmother will Well, literally, like, bitch, you're fit. She goes off about it. She can't stand it. Like, because you can get up and get dressed for church. Grandma, I ain't seen you get up and get dressed for church in the last couple Sundays either. Like, you know what I mean? So it's like, that's the biggest part that we have. I gotta go to church, and I can't get with it. I feel like the church got the most hypocrites sometimes. I know, and they ain't ready to have that conversation with me. So if they ain't ready, it ain't no point in me going there.
I hear that. I hear that. Elisha?
Um, well, I have well, I'm gonna do two really quick. I grew up in a Muslim background, so the expectations for us as a culture, far as being a Muslim, was being covered. That was one. I used to be covered all the time. You couldn't even see none of this right here. You know, none of the hair, nothing. Not a bunch of makeup. That's why I think I don't wear a lot of it either, because it rubbed off on me. Um, Another thing is in Trinidad, when I was growing up, in our culture, we had certain things like we couldn't be playing after 6 o'clock. We have to be after six because they have this thing they call not obi, jumbies. It's called jumbies. So after 6 o'clock, every kid has to be in the house because after 6 o'clock, they say the good angels are passing around the house. So it's like a cultural thing that they do in Trinidad around that time. So if you're not in the house about 6 o'clock because you have to have dinner and you have to just sit down and you have to either pray or we talk or we just have dinner, you just have a little solitude. I think that was one of my highlights of my whole life, to be honest with you. And I kind of like play around when I'm here, and I tell my son, and I'm like, after 6 o'clock, I'm like, you can't play no games or anything like that. The good angels are passing because it's blessing the house and things like that. So I kind of like that type of the culture that we had, both Muslim and uh, from Trinidad. So it was pretty
I
cool.
like that. I like that a
How about
lot.
you, Jinx?
I mean, then really, my grandmother's the only one that instilled any type of real tradition into me. My father did as well, but only on a native level. But my grandmother, just overall, was the one that really instilled everything. Like when it came to certain holidays, the way she did things, the certain meals she cooked. That's what I picked up on and really held on to. And it wasn't as though it was like it was an expectation now that I'm an adult. It was more so that, it was what she forced me to do as a child, and I just learned how to do it, and it became habitual because I was following her. Um, but I mean, like the native culture side of it, there are certain ceremonies and things that I participate in, and there are certain ceremonies that I try to make sure that my children participate in. They don't participate as much as I'd like them to, but I'm sure I don't participate as much as my elders would like for me to. Um, but I still expose them to their heritage and their practices so that they can hopefully pick up on some of it. I'm not gonna pressure them to, you gotta do this because I don't want them to ever like hate it or try to defy it or anything like that. So I really just try to encourage it. I share with them as much as I know about things, and that's all I can do on that end of it. I've never, like I said, I've never really felt like pressured to, follow any type of expectation on either level. I just kind of did it on my own.
Well, that's cool. I don't try to do that too with the kids either. I try not to. Do, well, I kind of like I can't do the Trinidadian thing culture wise, but as far as the Muslim, I do still have the values of that, and I still like how some of the things that I've learned from it, I kind of like still does it, but some of them I just don't do. I'm with Keya on that part when we have to be like kind of iffy when it comes to certain things that we kind of like pay attention to. So I'm with that one.
Agree, agree. I believe we are getting ready to go to a commercial break in just a few minutes, but before we do, I just want to talk more about these expectations. We're about to switch over to personal expectations. So while we on commercial break, I want y'all to think about what personal expectations means to you. That's a given. Like whether it's your personal expectations for yourself or your personal expectations of another. Certain things that you expect and you really ain't trying to bend on. That was
Hello,
good.
hello,
Hello, hello.
ladies.
How
Continue.
does
I
it
came to join.
feel?
I continue. I came to join.
Welcome. As y'all can see, that was a short little commercial from our productions at Seven Sun Entertainment. Always want to shout them out. And you, Ali Major, on the set once again. Glad to see your face.
Thank you.
Welcome
Thank
back.
you.
Welcome back. Last week we had some issues in more than one way, but
Okay.
we ironed it out and the show must go on, right? Like,
All right. Yeah, I'm gonna speak on that later. But anyways, keep going. Let me enjoy the conversation. I like what y'all was talking about, and I would like to join in.
all right, so join in with our personal expectations.
All
What are
right.
your feelings on that?
What are my feelings on personal expectations?
Of
Um,
yourself and others?
um, I'm a stickler on this because my personal expectations are very high. I hold myself highly accountable for all my movements, and I'm more than willing to put the work and the grit in to get what I want. Um, so uh, personal conflicts with self are high. You know, the pressures that I put on myself are crazy, and I mean, I think it's a part of life. I think if you want and desire something, I think if something is burning on your heart, there's no other way to do it. I mean, you can't sit at home and eat fucking donuts and think you're gonna be a fucking multi-millionaire. It just don't work that way. You know, that's just how life works. Um, that's my thoughts.
I believe you are dead right. Yeah, you gotta make moves in order for things to happen. Absolutely. When you got something on your heart and your mind, then you gonna do what you need to do to accomplish them goals.
Absolutely.
How about you, Miss Kia? How you feel about personal expectations?
Um, so I'm gonna just give you my main two right now because I've been working on two of them specifically lately. So the first one is my academic progress for school because it's like ever since I enrolled in school, I've been going through so many adversities, and it's like I don't know how, but it's like God be on my side because I've been passing my classes, so I've been rocking real hard with it. So like I set a goal, so now I'm like I have to see it, and I'm almost there. So like when it's time to hit that finish line, I'm gonna attack it. So I know I have to get to that academic goal that I set for myself because I know I'm more than capable.
That's what's
Like
up.
I know I'm capable of doing it. And then my
You
second one
doing it.
is
You definitely doing it. And like you said, through adversity. Very proud of you.
thank
Keep
you,
up the
thank you,
greatness, mama.
thank you.
And
And
your
then the
second
second
one,
one,
sorry to interrupt.
I think I would have to say my financial goals. Like because like growing up they don't teach you about your financial stability and goals and what it takes to be financially stable and everything while you're in school. So now I'm like, I'm still young, but I'm like starting like really at the beginning learning and understanding financial stability and what it takes and what it looks like and how to do it. So like I'm in the beginning processes of actually like putting it together, and it's
That's
all
what's
still in
up.
the register. So
That's what's
Dope.
up. Because
Dope.
legit, no matter how much we hate to face it, money really do make this world go around. It opens up so many doors and opportunities, and allows for so much comfort and freedom when you are financially secure. So yes, definitely continue to educate yourself as much as you can in that aspect. Absolutely. Very happy to hear all of that. How about your personal expectations towards others? What is something that you expect from others that is something you just can't can't bend on, can't can't compromise on?
Who you want to speak? Who you want to
No,
go?
I was still talking to Keya.
Okay.
no, you gotta go to somebody else. I need a second. Like that one,
All
it struck a nerve just now in my brain. Like I'm mad you can't see it, but it struck a nerve just now. So I gotta reiterate and think about that one.
right, all right. How about you, Miss Alicia?
Which part? Which one am I doing? The first one or the second one? The others. The
Either
expectation for
or,
others.
whatever makes you happy, girl.
I'm gonna answer that one first. My expectation for others, I think, is way too high for me because I've been hearing a lot that people tell me I live in this fairy tale world in my head, and I actually do believe so. I believe I expect others to be kind and be like how I am, I guess. I expect them to treat people how you should be treated. I think I have expectations for others to really understand other people's feelings, understand the struggles they go through, understand these type of things. So I think my expectations for others is really, as they told me, a fairy tale because I don't think what I'm going to get from others is what is going to happen. So that's one of my feelings with that.
I mean, I can understand that it's not a fairy tale world, but at the same time, like, you definitely have the ability to demand certain things within your life, within your cipher. Absolutely. So if you're a, a kind, thoughtful, gentle person, by nature, you're going to want or expect that from people around you at times. So that's understandable, and I don't think it's actually a fairy tale. It really boils down to people being respectful and people understanding others and trying to be empathetic to, like you said, everybody's going through something, and there are people who go through things and it spills over in a negative way, and it doesn't always rub people the right way, and
I think it's
it
people. I'm
alter
sorry, I
it,
didn't mean to
it,
cut you off.
it can alter interactions, and it can alter how you feel in certain situations.
Can I say
How about
something?
Yeah, I was coming to you right now.
All
Please,
right.
please.
Okay. I would like to say um that people are not empathetic. They're not understanding. People are not. The world is not understanding. People aren't going to overlook a blight because you feel like it's the right thing to do. People are not. I'm gonna be honest. This is life. People are gonna chastise you over everything you fucking do in this world. So you have to be very vigilant on what you produce, what you put out there, and what goes on. But it all has to be done in a light to where it's not affecting on you. See, I always keep the mind frame of keeping your side of the street clean, right? And what I mean by keeping your side of the street clean is I can't control what fuck Joey do with his yard. What he do with his yard is what he do with his yard. If he got a broke down ass car and some a bunch of trash in his fucking yard, who the fuck am I to tell Joey how he needs to fucking live? First and foremost, I need to pay attention to what my house looks like, what my yard looks like. First and foremost, what my car looks like. See, these are the things that's most effective inside society. See, you guys are talking about conforming to society's pressures, but I'm going to give people a jewel. You need to really look at yourself and not pay attention to others' lives. Others' lives don't affect your life. Your life is still going to be fucked up, even though their life is happy. Just because they're on fucking TV, laughing, joking it up, pouring bottles, don't mean you are. So what you need to do is be more effective in your life and pay attention to your own shit than worrying about what somebody else do in their life. Because that's going to make you a more effective person and therefore take you to a higher plateau.
I agree. If we can only worry about ourselves. We can only control ourselves. We are only in control of how we react to situations. You know, we can't control other people in situations.
And therefore, I agree with Keya. Excuse me? I'm sorry. I ain't mean to jump in. I agree with Keya 100%. Who the fuck cares what the fuck they think? For real, for real. What you think don't mind me shit. For real, for real. You shit in your own pot. You don't shit in my pot. You know what I'm saying? So the next person's thoughts and what they agree or disagree with are not necessarily my agreements or disagreements. You see what I'm saying? And
I will agree.
Absolutely. So I mean, conforming to society's pressures is something that you yourself are doing. You're doing it to yourself by holding society higher than yourself. You have to hold yourself higher than society because guess what? It's your movie. You're here for 80 years or 50, 60 years. You're the one here. It's your fucking movie. How you going to direct the shit? You want to work at Dunkin' Donuts your whole life, or you gonna go get a job, or you gonna go get an education to try and better that? I understand Dunkin' Donuts is not a bad job, but what I'm saying is you can better that, you can enlighten that, you can highlight that. There's people who work at Dunkin' Donuts who still make music videos and still try to get themselves out there. There's people who work at Dunkin' Donuts who still trying to get a second job or a third job, who keeps going, no matter what society's pressures throw against them. You know, I would like to, I would like to let somebody else step in, but I would also like to infer that last week's show with Mr. Corey Hubbard. Mr. Corey Hubbard is on multiple podcasts as a life coach. I want to let you ladies know he's on multiple podcasts. I've seen this with my own eyes. Okay, so like I said, people are what they make themselves in this life. People are as they, he don't see himself as people on this show has seen him. But yet still, I don't see him in that light either. I see him as a person trying to gain, a person trying to come on, a person trying to get through life the best way that they know how. And that's all we can do as people. See this thing, anything is possible? Anything is possible. For reference, if you believe in it. And that's what I like to say on conforming to society's pressures.
I agree with a lot of what you're saying. I personally, when it comes to personal expectations, I have a lot of expectations that I place upon myself, whether it be for family or for business, and I'm a perfectionist in a lot of ways, and when things don't go in a positive way, when the energy is shifted because of negative influences or situations, it definitely becomes an issue.
If you allow it to, you allow the issue to start within you. You have to brush that shit off and let that shit go past you. Just because this person say something doesn't mean I have to accept it as fucking fact.
No, I understand exactly what you're saying, but I think you're missing the point that I was trying to make.
Okay, let me hear it.
I want to move on to my personal expectations for others, as opposed to myself, which I just discussed.
Okay.
When it comes to others that are in my life, my personal expectations are a level of respect and a degree of, I don't want to say professionalism. I want to say integrity. We on the old gag, we did some integrity shows, and we touched on a lot of things. And integrity is a big thing to me. It's like when are you the same person when my back is turned or in my face? And I'm the type of person where if I feel like your respect and your integrity isn't reflecting the way my own tries to always come through, then I'm going to give you less time and less space in my life because I'm trying to get to a place that I can't be distracted through other people's shit because I'm on my own journey, just like each and every one of us is on our own journey.
Hmm.
And I feel like anything that even has the ability to try and knock me off my course, I'm gonna do whatever I can to make sure it's not within my space.
Okay. Like it. Love it. I'm the type of person that can't nobody knock me off my course. Ain't shit they could do to make me reroute. Because guess what? It's my life. I don't care what they do. What they do is theirs, and I'm not gonna let their life make an
But
impression on mine.
there's always gonna be something that knocks you off your course.
No,
Even
but myself.
whether
Just me.
whether whether it be life, just life circumstance, whether it be an illness, whether it be your
That's
car breaking
me.
down, whether it be whatever it may be, there's always going to be something that knocks us a little bit off
But that's
our
not
lane.
social conform though. That's health. That's not
No, but
social conform.
I'm also talking about within the realms of personal expectations.
Personal expectations can't be health. It can't really be health because we know not of the future, so you can't really
Technically
expect you.
speaking, your health can, because if you set your own personal health goals, then that's a personal
Yeah,
health
but
expectation. It
okay,
still
true.
falls
Your
under
health
personal expectation.
goals, not your health in general. Not a heart attack next week. You don't have no personal goals towards that because that is unexpected. That's something that you can't have personal goals towards.
Okay, so put it like this, right? They say that if the more exercise that you do, the stronger you make your heart, right? So
Is that a
if I tell
fact?
a person, huh?
I think you're overworking your heart at that point. So now you're overworking your heart at that point. Now you're doing much. Yes, that's true. That's a fact.
It's a
You can
muscle.
work yourself out until it
Muscle
goes
within
out.
the body, just like your brain. You got to keep working it and using it to keep it strong. Period.
There's people who've lived to 100 and I don't know 18 years old that's never worked out. There's people who's worked out who's only made it to 40 years old. So I don't know the guess to that, but I do know that the facts to that.
All right, you're still speaking on the facts of it when we're talking about people's personal
Yeah,
expectations.
but that's
There is no
impossible.
facts to it.
It can't be
Okay,
impossible. That's
that's
not
a
impossible.
it's not impossible. Okay, well, my personal expectations of living to 110 are, it's like okay, it's not necessarily like I can't control that. I can't make myself live to 110. I don't care what. If it's not in my Dana, it's not going to be there. If most of my family die at 56, then you're in a hard situation to make it to 110.
But at the same time, that would then be you making having
We all
unrealistic
do
personal
that. We
expectations
all do
upon
that.
yourself. You're right. A lot of us probably do have some unrealistic personal expectations, whether it be for themselves or for others. I'm sure there's a chick that wants to lose 50 pounds, but the bitch be going to McDonald's 3, 5 times a week. Like, what's this? We got a guest talking about. I learned through incarceration. A situation is something that happens. That's it. We can't control anybody else. We can only control our actions and how we react. That's a fact. Absolutely. Like I was saying, we only
It's
got
facts.
control over ourselves.
It's facts.
But
Your
that
expectations
doesn't,
can't lead you to live a certain part. That's over expectation right there. What you can expect is to build yourself in society or build yourself in your stability or build yourself in your relationship with your kids or build yourself in your relationship with yourself. That's what you can expect to do. You can expect to do that with high expectancy if you practice it. But then still, people get the over expectancy of worrying about shit that they can't control in life.
absolutely. A lot of people do worry about things they can't control. That's called stress. That's called worry. That's called You know,
But we're
a
not
lot
supposed to
of
do that.
people, huh?
We're not supposed to do that.
You're right. There's a lot of things we're not supposed to do in life. Absolutely. Absolutely. We have unrealistic expectations of ourselves and others on a regular basis. A lot of us do. Not all of us, but a lot of us do. And that takes me back to something my grandfather used to tell me when I was a little girl. If you don't expect nothing, you can't be disappointed.
True. True. Big
So
facts.
if you don't place any expectations on anyone else, then you cannot be disappointed by whatever the result may be.
I don't
And
I don't put expectations on people no more. Just like friendships, like for real with friendships, I love my friends for being my friends. If they're fuck ups, guess what? They're fuck ups. They're not gonna fuck up my life, but I still love them. T, my nigga Tat, yo, that's my nigga to the death. He never going nowhere. But then still, listen, he in a fucked up situation. But yo, I love that nigga to death. If he call, I answer my phone. Yo, Tony, I answer my phone. Like, seriously, these is my niggas to the death. Like, for real, it just is what it is. I don't hold them friends because of how great they're doing in life. That's not what I'm doing because they're negative. So fucking what? I still gotta live my life.
absolutely. What was someone else eat? Don't make me shit. Period.
Facts. Facts. At this time, would you like to go to your random screen? I don't gotta talk to you behind the scenes. Would you like to go to your random screen?
Just bringing my randoms,
I
y'all.
love it. I love it. I love it. I love it. But yeah, it's still yeah, let's do this. Okay, so I got a message, right? And the random question for tonight is hold on, let me pull it up. Let me pull it up. How does the desire to conform societal standards impact our relationships and self identity?
All right, all right.
You need me to repeat it again? How
No,
Yes,
does
please.
go
how
ahead.
does the desire to conform to societal standards impact our relationships and self identity? How does it impact your self and your relationships?
I mean, I definitely earlier touched on the societal aspect affecting self worth. Um, and I think that ties directly into self identity. A lot of people don't have their own identity. A lot of people are biting off of other people's identity. A lot of people are so busy trying to be like other people that they're not being true to themselves. Um, and I think we see that quite a bit in life. And I think that that affects relationships because if you're not being true to yourself, then how could you have a real, honest relationship with anybody else?
True. I agree. I agree with the ending of that. If you can't be real with yourself, how can you have a real relationship? I think I think that people put too much emphasis on relationship. I think that that people need to put more emphasis on learning self and self relationship because once you learn yourself enough, you know how to handle yourself in certain situations. Then still, people don't worry about that. They worry about dick and pussy all the time. That's not really the case. You know what I'm saying? For real, you have to really pay attention to yourself. You have to really know yourself. If you don't know yourself, how the fuck can you know somebody else? And that's what it real boils down to. People rush to get relationships, rush to find girlfriends, boyfriends. People rush to have babies. People rush to have this shit and then figure the rest out later. Mothers don't even know themselves before they fucking have kids. And then they got to figure themselves out while they figure their kids out at the same damn time. It makes it confusing. But they don't understand that confusion because it's already happening. And they're like, fuck it, I got to deal with it now. But if you would have thought about that shit before, you wouldn't have been in that situation. I'm going to just keep it a buck, 1,000. I don't give two fucks.
You're right. You're right in a lot of ways, but at the same time, like If you don't know better, how can you do better?
You
If you're
do
not
know
strong,
better. You know,
if
everybody on this planet, if you're over the age of fucking 16, you heard of this shit before. I ain't trying to hear none of that bullshit. That's bullshit. You want your desires. Your desires lead you to that shit. That's what it wants. That's what it boils down to. You know better, but you don't do better. Your mamas, your grandmamas, everybody got one of them. Everybody got one. If not, you got foster mamas. If not, you got all kind of shit. Step mamas, grandmamas, godmamas. You got all that shit. Somebody heard something. You heard something throughout your life. That's a
but
misunderstood
just,
excuse.
but just because you may hear something does not definitely mean that you're going to absorb it, adhere to it, and fully
Whose fault
understand
is
it
that?
at that point in
Whose
time
fault
within
is
your
that?
life.
Whose fault is that? Who pressed the blame on that?
Part of it is society. Part
No,
of it
fuck that. That's
is
your
part of
blame. You take the blame for your own life. You got to stand for something in life, and you better stand for yourself.
I
Straight up.
stand for myself on a
Then
regular
then then
basis.
stop blaming
But that,
society. Blame yourself and your actions.
but listen, I'm not. First of all, this ain't about me.
No, I
You
mean all of us. I mean everybody in society. I don't mean you. Please don't take my comments as I'm
no,
being
no, no, no,
personal.
no, no,
What I'm
no, no,
saying
no.
is
I'm not
everybody in
saying
society.
no. I get exactly what you're saying. Yes, we all have to take personal accountability. Absolutely, but there is a lot of things that transpire in young people's lives that you can honestly sit back now as a 40 something year old person and say that at certain points in our lives we didn't fully know and understand the depths of
I agree.
Hold
our
up.
actions.
Hold up. I was 15 years old running in with a book bag and a gun in the bitch. You tell me I ain't know that I was running inside somebody's house with the door kicked the fuck in with a gun in this
you
shit?
you didn't know that at that time what your goals were for doing what you did
I wanted
was
money.
not worth the risk. You did not
I
know.
thought it was worth the risk, and I did it for more than half of my life.
But
Is going out there hustling, selling drugs, risking my life, out there with felons, risking my life, out there with guns, risking my life. I did that shit more than half of my life.
I get it.
So
So did
before we get
I.
that,
That's nothing. But at that point, you did not
Oh, that's
realize.
something, Jinx. I wish I never happened. That's something I
I,
wish it never
see,
fucking happened.
This is what I'm trying to convey to you. This is what I'm trying to convey to you right now. Because at that point in time, you believed that getting money was more important than your life, your health, your freedom.
What else is
You
there to
now
do?
know
How does
better. You
society
now know
move?
better.
No,
That
no, no.
throws full
Hold up,
circuit
Jinx. I
into
still
exactly
believe
what
that
I was
money moves
saying.
this planet. And if without money,
Absolutely.
you're gonna be hurt.
Choices
You're
that
gonna be
you
broke. You're gonna be living in a cardboard box.
but the choices that you made to obtain that money
It
brought
was
you
wrong.
to
It was wrong.
it
It
brought
was
you to
fast. It was
a
fast. It was.
place.
It was.
It
It was.
brought
It
you
was.
to go ahead.
No, no, no. I was just gonna say it was fast and it was sporadic. That's all it was.
I understand that. I know. I fully wholeheartedly understand
What wasn't
exactly what
right or
you're trying
wrong
to
when you did it?
convey.
I mean, yo, listen. Check this out. America was built on war. America's money comes from war. The people before us got rich off robbing people on ships. What do you mean? Who the fuck is wrong? Are we
so that
wrong for
gives
doing it
so
or
that
are
gives
they wrong for projecting it?
that gives
What
you
I
right to follow that suit.
Yeah, but listen, if the world, listen, okay, check this out, right?
So you're gonna
Listen, I
follow
want
the
y'all to
world.
understand. I want y'all to understand how America is moving. Listen, okay, you can shake your head all you want. You can shake your head all you want. You can either, like I said, get left behind by the rich people who put themselves in these bunkers, who's gonna leave your ass out here when they make this Adam and Eve shit that they're working on. You're gonna be the one that's out here while they're inside those bunkers with their rich fucking asses. I'm just being honest. This is pure honesty going on.
If
Yeah,
that's how
but
God wants me to go,
yeah,
then that's how I'm
I
going.
don't. I listen. Hold up. First, what I'm trying to do in this life, in this world, is better than myself and the people around me. I'm trying to help. I'm really trying to help, and that's what this show and everything I'm doing is about. Is about help. So if that's the case, why am I going to sit my ass back and twiddle my thumbs while everybody else is trying to do something? No, I'm actually going to do something too and try to make my own mark. That's what living is about, making your mark. So if you're just here just to move through day-to-day life and not actually make your soul imprint inside society, then then that's your prerogative. But me, on the other hand, my prerogative is to put a soul imprint inside society.
I believe that every single person on this planet has the ability to put a soul print on society.
You're correct.
On a small or very large level, and it has nothing to do with your financial status or stature.
It makes it easier. It makes it easier. It makes it more powerful. It makes your movement move faster. It makes it bigger.
Because of society, because of social media.
Either which way, it still works, right?
That okay, but at the same time, we complain about the route that it's taken us, but we enjoy the pleasures of it.
No, what you do is you make your own mark. See, that mark has already been made. You're just copying somebody's identity. What you're doing is you're supposed to make your own unique identity in this planet.
Well, aren't you following the rich people if that's the case?
No, you're not following. You're not following anybody. What you're doing is you're trying to make your own mark. Once again, I'm going to say this. Once again, I'm going to say this.
If you're making your own mark, aren't you doing what they're doing?
No, you're not. Puffy's out there doing something totally different than I'm going to do.
Yeah, I don't even want to talk about Puffy.
All right, but yet still, that's an example. That is an example of what the fuck is going on. See, and to be truthful, they set him up to be that way. But it is what it is. There's higher powers that be that find out your weakness and try to get you off of your weakness so that they can keep you underneath their wing and have you underneath the cause. But see, you have to situate yourself, and you have to be strong enough mentally to go at this in a different manner. Elisha, let me tell you, you don't have to conform with society's strengths. It's how you use society's strengths to move it your way. You have to envelope things to go your way, but you have to do it in a unique stance. It cannot be, well, I'm a firm believer in being unique inside your stance. And it can't be just like that.
Well,
anyways,
thank God I don't follow society to do that.
I got you, but yet still, in order, like I said, to empower yourself and be better, you have to kind of pay attention to society. Society is moving a certain way, and you have to know that. You have to know which way the presidency is going, or which way other countries is going towards war, or where this is at, or where this is standing. You have to know this shit. This is what you have to know. If you're in a place of business and you're working in this business, you have to know how the business moves, because then it's going to move you up in your standards. It's going to get you promotions and shit like that.
But okay.
If you don't want to progress,
understanding the dynamic of any business or whatever that you're working in, so that you can raise yourself up the ladder. I wholeheartedly understand and agree with that. I get that, and you got to do that in a lot of aspects of life. Period. Just to get a leg up. I get that as well. But at the end of the day, it's what I want us to really touch on and reach on is overcoming these expectations, certain expectations, which end up having a negative result. Look, you had expectations to have more money in your pocket and to be able to do more things, and you made shitty ass choices to get yourself that money, which you now look back on and say to yourself, I could have done it a whole nother way.
True, but the way I did it was what made me the man I am today. I'm not mad at it. I'm really not.
All of our experiences have been
every one of us has that experience.
Every single one of us.
I'm not mad at prison. Guess what? It brought me here. It brought me to this point right here where I'm like, oh my gosh, I got this shit. It's like the fucking Matrix in my fucking hand.
I get it. I mean, being grateful for every experience is.
I just want to say one thing before we go to your PMSE, and then we go to sound off and we're out. I just want to say one thing. Society's strengths are based off of you. If you allow it to attack you, and if you allow it to defeat you, if you allow it to make you conform, if you allow it to make you feel like you don't stand up, or if you allow it to make you feel like you don't fit in, then guess who it is? It's your mind. You really have to change your train of thought. You really do. You really have to reevaluate your own situation. If you don't, then society will keep trying to conform you in their own magical way. That's it.
Essentially, it all boils down to choices and loving yourself.
Absolutely.
You gotta love yourself.
Absolutely.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, it is time for our PMS check-ins, and I'm so glad Mr. Allee is here to join us for tonight's session.
The first male on PMSC. Let's get it. Let me tell y'all my feelings, my spiritual emotions.
Physical, sir. Physical. Start with your physical. How you feel?
You know what, my physical, I've been really sick and I've been really fucked up, but you know what, I swear to y'all ladies, listen, I feel more empowered and better than ever. Like for real, I feel like I could run through a fucking brick wall, even though right now I don't know if that's physically possible. I mean, but I actually feel like I'm unstoppable.
Physically. All right. How about mentally?
Mentally, fucked up.
At least you being honest. I appreciate that. Always, always. How about spiritually? I know you're not really big on religion, but
Yeah,
how about
I'm not a very spiritual person, but within myself, I feel, you know, I feel great. I feel great.
good, good, good. Miss Keya, how about you?
You on mute, girl.
Oh yeah.
Okay, so physically I'm here. Mentally I'm like shocked. Like I'm real flabbergasted, not shocked. I'm like stuck on replay right now. Um and then spiritually I'm grieving hard.
Hmm. Hmm. I'm
It's
sorry to
been a
hear
rough
that.
it's been a rough week. I lost my adopted grandfather and it's like starting to dawn on me and it's
I'm
like,
sorry.
the funeral's in a couple days, so I'm just like not there all the way now. So it's like it's almost time and I'm just not ready.
I'm very sorry for your loss. That's never easy. Miss Elisha, how about you?
Physically, I'm hurting. I'm really in a lot of pain. Mentally, I'm working on it, and spiritually, I'm actually okay spiritually. To be honest with you, my energy is very, very high, so I like that.
Nice. Nice. As for
Jinx,
myself,
physical.
physically, I am spent. I've been moving all day long and I'm ready for a shower in bed.
Okay. Mentally,
Mentally, mentally, I am stressed, very stressed.
spiritually.
Um, I'm just praying. I'm praying the good Lord hold my grandmother till her 100th birthday. It's not
Mm,
looking good right now, but September 24th is her birthday, so I'm hoping she can hold on. I mean, regardless, 99 years, she had a good run, but you know, I'm
sorry.
praying. I'm
Sorry.
praying all day long that I just be like, God, keep her just a little bit longer, please, please. And I know that's selfish, but at the same time, as long as she's comfortable, we gonna deal with whatever comes.
May God make it easy on all of you guys.
Amen. And thank you, Mama.
Thank you.
All right, sound off. So, ladies and gentlemen, this is the part of our show where we just, let it out, say what we gotta say. If there's anything we didn't touch on that we need to really touch on, that's what we gonna do. So that's what we doing tonight. So, anybody got anything they wanna unleash? Did we forget anything?
Go ahead, Mr. Lee. I see you itching. Go ahead.
All right. Well, I was gonna save it and wait for everybody else to go ahead and speak, but I would like everybody to know this show started as a show to help and inspire people on conversation. It started as a show that I wanted people to come through and unveil every imaginable thought that was on their mind. All right, this show was a show that I wanted to add an educational and emotional aspect to it. Controversy is a big part of this show because controversy is a part of life. Um, I tried to mix together all of these things, or I'm trying to mix together all of these aspects within a show. Um, it is very hard, and I learned a lot through these last 6 shows with you ladies. I learned a whole lot through these last 6 shows, and I want to thank you guys. I want to thank you guys for giving me the experience and the know-how that I already knew I could do, but I had to prove it to myself. I want to thank you guys for your inspiration and your conversations up here. Your conversations are wonderful. I enjoy them and I laugh behind the scenes. For real, for real. Be funny as hell sometimes. I know the show has gotten crazy over the last 6 shows. I know that people have came across with intentions, attitudes, uh, bigotry. A whole lot of aspects played a part in what I've seen within the show. Um, this show, I promise y'all, is going to have an educational aspect to it. I'm going to get back to it, but I had to figure out exactly how and where I wanted to run the show after dealing with the show for so long. Because Jinx, you know, we was on the show for many shows, so I had to figure out exactly. And me as an entrepreneur, it kind of makes it hard to figure out. You know, there's so many aspects to it, and especially when you're so creative and you got so many thoughts in your mind. First, I would like to apologize to you ladies and tell you, since I'm thinking on the spot, that I should have gave you guys a complete new show. I should have kept the gag order. I should have gave you guys a complete new show and let y'all categorized it the way y'all wanted to. I should have. I should have. Had I been thinking in my right mind, I would have. But I chose to inspire the gag by getting different personalities to come on the gag and express themselves with different personalities. And that is a true fact. That's what the gag is for. That's what the gag is about. I created the gag, but I want to give the gag to the world. That's a true fact. Um, um, the gag will go back to its original aspect as far as the teaching aspect, and as far as it's still going to be controversy. It's always going to be controversy in life. It's still going to have it's still going to have the element of conversation in it, but yet and still it's going to go back to the original structure where we talk about news, where we talk about all the updated hip hop, and I want to bring poets back in and things like that. I want to start doing those things again, and I've been wanting to do it, but like I said, I had to let the show settle in, and I had to let you guys settle into your roles. That's a big part. You guys had to settle into your roles. Jinx, I want to thank you for stepping up and coming across and taking charge and running the show. I really want to thank you. I understand you have personal blights and issues. I understand that those issues is causing you stress and strain in your life. I understand. And I wish you all the best and condolences and everything and anything that you choose. Anything you choose from this point forward. I wish you the best in anything you choose. You're not the only person who's expressed their dislikes of the situation or what's going on in the show because of educational values or controversial values or other aspects of the show. Elisha, you've also had your blights on controversial aspects of the show, and I understand your controversy. I understand you're trying to keep yourself in a positive mojo, and I hear you guys. Even tonight, you guys were talking about keeping yourself inside a positive fence. I heard you. I respect it. I heard you all day. And my job is to then like I said, I'm an entrepreneur. I'm a creative ass person. I always think outside the box. I'm always like I play chess a lot. I play chess a lot in prison. So it's like, you know what I mean? I always keep that mind state as where I gotta stay a move or two ahead. You know what I'm saying? I got to. If I could, 3 or 4 moves ahead. You know what I'm saying, just in case the first 2 fuck up. You know what I'm saying, I gotta switch it. So I just would like to apologize to all my viewers and people watching if they thought the show was moving in a different direction. It's actually not. It's actually growing. It's actually getting bigger. Corey Hubbard's a lot of people had complained about Mr. Corey Hubbard. Mr. Corey Hubbard was very, very entertaining. Mr. Corey Hubbard was, I got, there's a bunch of views on Mr. Corey Hubbard. It wasn't like he was not entertaining. It wasn't like he's not building his professional background, because that's what we are. We got to start from somewhere. We all have to start from somewhere. You can't just magically be a fucking movie star and be up in there and get in a movie with Reeves, Christopher Reeves, or anybody. You can't. Excuse me, I meant Keanu Reeves. But yet still, you can't just do this shit, and go and be in Pirates of the Caribbean, and nobody knows you. These are things you can't do. So you have to build yourself. You have to fight. You have to put yourself in a position to win, and that's what he's doing. And I don't blame him. I don't knock him. That's people with me. There's people with me. You're always gonna be people with me. I don't show no hate towards nobody in life. I try not to anymore. I stopped that a long time ago. What they do, like I said, don't affect me. So therefore, I look at them in a different light. They're trying to grind just like I'm trying to grind. Just because their grind is weird to me, don't mean that they're different than me. It just means that they have a different aspect.
I get and understand with a lot of what you're saying right now, and I also want to thank you for the opportunity to come up on here and to share my thoughts and feelings and opinions with people. That was always my main premise. Um, I appreciate you, your creativity, your production skills, things like that have made the gag order possible throughout the entirety of the process and the project. And I love the fact that the educational is going to be more of the focus, and I'm fully aware that there's always chaos, there's always conflict, there's always controversy whenever you get multiple people together with different personalities and different opinions. It's bound to happen no matter where you are in whatever setting. Um, I appreciate you ladies. I appreciate Allee. I appreciate everybody from the gag order day one till now. And I'm at a point in my life where I gotta do what's best for me and mine. And every ounce of energy that I've got has to be given to them because there's not a lot of energy left on most days. So again, I really appreciate being a part of the gag. I'm always love, follow, support, like all that good shit. Um, so that's never a concern. Some of our guests were, I mean, over the whole progress of the original gag and the revised. I mean, we've had some guests that were definitely, I don't I don't want to say the wrong word, but everybody's different. Everybody got their own struggles. Everybody got their own issues, and some people, getting back to our topic, are more concerned about expectations as opposed to being real to themselves, as opposed to you know
I disagree. I
knowing
disagree. I
themselves.
disagree. I think they are being real to themselves. They're going for something for themselves. They're going to empower themselves and be better for themselves. They notice the difference in how society is moving. So what they did was they took themselves and added where they thought they could keep themselves. They're not changing themselves. They're not different. But what they did was realize and start understanding how society is moving. It's not that they're different. They just understand what the fuck is going on, and they're tired of living the life that they're living. Yes, go ahead. Go ahead, Lisa. You could gag me. Y'all could gag me all you want. I'm here for that.
Gag!
Go ahead. Come on. Come on with it. Let me hear it. Because I call that a gag. Let's go.
Isn't that the same thing as conforming from the societal expectations?
No. What you're doing is you're rerouting yourself. Listen, what you're doing, you could be
Rerouting,
unique.
yes, but you're still changing
Yeah,
yourself
but
in a way.
how are you gonna live in 1980 and 2024? How the
But
fuck does
you're
that
still
work?
conforming to change.
Man, you got to. We all change. Every year it changes. The dictionary changes. Words change. Everything changes in society. How the fuck can't you change?
I mean,
But that's
we
the
will change regardless, physically, mentally, emotionally,
You're
hopefully
gonna
emotionally.
change. Every
Everybody got
relationship you have, you're gonna change. Every sexual encounter you have, you're gonna change. Your inhibitions are gonna get littler and littler. You're gonna be more willing to do shit that you never did before.
I don't know where to put
It's
that
facts.
from,
That's change. That's all change.
but at the same time, you have to be true to yourself, your core values, your morals, your standards in life, your boundaries.
So people are picking and choosing what there's. People are picking and choosing, but choosing that gaining access to a better you is not what they want to choose. They want to choose the little minimal shit that's gonna fuck their life up in the whole chest. You don't get it. You don't get what I just said. It went over your head. Listen, okay, check this out. In order to better yourself in society, you must go and you must do things to enhance your resume, your criteria, your background, your where you're headed. You have to upgrade those, right? So check this out. People are so focused. People are so focused. Once again, I'm going to say people are so focused on hopping on a pogo stick than going to go get a degree. People are so focused. They're so focused on wanting to have babies than wanting to go and get a degree.
Baby girl jumped in at the perfect time too. That was bad. That was bad.
So that's what I mean. Like seriously, people's priorities and views and focuses.
Some people
they
are, and again, I think that all falls back to societal expectations and pressures that people are conforming to.
I think it's on them. I think it's them.
That's why they're falling into that sequence.
I think it's them. I think it's them. I think it's their mind.
I mean, absolutely, because ultimately everybody has a choice of whether or not they're going to conform or whether or not they're going to follow these supposed expectations. Everybody has that personal choice, absolutely. But there are many people out there that are striving towards a better life on a regular basis.
So because I don't go to prison no more, and because I go to college and get a degree, I'm conforming to social conforms. Is that what you're saying?
No, I'm saying you're being.
How is that not? How is that not? That's exactly what you guys were just talking about. That would be conforming to social conforms.
How do you figure?
What do you mean? How do I figure? Okay, check this out, right? Just listen. Just listen. If I would have stayed the same person I was, before, right? I would have kept going with streets, and I'd have still been in the streets. I'd have still been hustling. I'd still think I was Scarface. I would have still been trying to move bags. I still would have. But see, within prison, I started realizing society. See, my cousins were sending me pictures through prison, and my aunt, she sent me a letter every now and then. My mother would send me a letter every now and then. People on the outside would send me a letter every now and then, let me know exactly what they were doing. That they were moving along in society, and society was moving along with them. I got cousins, right? And all my cousins work for the government. They all make over $100,000. Seriously, each and every one of them, even my little girl cousin, they all make over $100,000. I was sitting inside a box, 4 walls, and I sat there and thought, and then I told myself, I said, listen, if you don't change this shit now, if you don't start understanding what the fuck's going on in society, you're always gonna find yourself in this boat. So I sat back, and I didn't change myself. I'm still the same. Trust me, I'm still the same person. There's movements that I make that are different. There's a lot of movements that I make that are different than before, because those movements are done out of not thinking about them. I wasn't thinking. They were just out of spite. Real fast, real just on instinct. I'm saying I learned those things from older people on instinct. So it moved like it was instinct. If I seen somebody and they was flashing their money out, the first thing I would think about, snatch that. So you got to understand, when I changed and I changed myself, I looked at societal, and you guys can call it societal conforms, right? But see, in order to better yourself in society, you have to add a bit of conforming to yourself. You have to. It's impossible to do it without it. It's impossible to better yourself in society.
To a degree, we have to conform to certain things within life regardless. Yes, we got to pay taxes. Yes, we got to pay our electric bill and our rent and da-da-da-da-da. That's all part of being an adult, a grown-up.
You got to do more than that.
Successful adult.
You got to do more than that. You got to conform to being a mother, a father, and raising kids. You got to conform to all of. You got to conform to all of this.
You got to conform to whatever position it is you playing at your job. I wholeheartedly understand all of that. But my point is, you could have easily conformed to the people that constantly go round and round in that same circle.
That's not conforming. That's not conforming. That's not conforming at all.
But society pressures you to have quick money, fast money, lots
Yeah,
of
but
money in your
that's not
life. And
conforming. I was already in that life. I didn't have to conform to it. I was already in that life. I didn't have to conform to shit because that's what I was doing every day.
But at some point, you conform to it because it was what
No,
your environment entailed.
no. Listen. I wouldn't call what I did conforming at all as a child. As a child, you are learning from people around you. It's not necessarily called conforming. It's called a learning process. You don't say your son is conforming to education. No, you don't use those. He's learning education. What?
Okay, I'm sorry. I have a question because
What?
I'm so lost
Yeah.
of how this whole thing is running.
Yeah.
Because I'm trying to understand what you're coming from, right?
Yeah. Uh-huh.
So you're classifying society, period, as life, as being a mother, as doing this, as doing that. So you
That's
call
a
it
part of
society
society.
that?
I mean, that's a part of society. Why
Wait,
is it
hold on.
not?
Everyday life is society to you.
Why is it not? Everyday life is based on society.
So we're not
Society
talking
to
about how
me,
social media makes us look.
Well, I mean,
That's
no,
we're
you
not
guys,
talking.
yes, you guys
So you
have
said
brought that
social
aspect
media.
in, but that's not the only thing that affects your conformity within society. It's not just social media. Social media is not before
We don't.
social media. What did we do? How did we
Everybody
conform?
does not conform to
society to me,
society, though.
society to me
Do you
means
have clothes on right now? Do you have earrings on your ears? Where'd that come from? That came from society. Bangles, big earrings on your ears, that came from society.
Okay, Mr. Lee, you got it, Mr. Lee. You got it.
essentially to me, society means anything outside of home. Society is your community. Society is the people you see at work. Society is the world outside of life to me. The
Society
world
is your
outside of
life. Society is your life is society. It is. I don't care how you defute it. Your life is society. That's what society runs on. Life. How the fuck can there be society without life?
I mean, that's a given. Yes, human life is required in order to make up society as a whole. But what I'm saying is, I personally look at society as anything outside of my home. It's
Nah.
outsiders. It's
Mm-mm.
people.
It's your
It's
home. It's
community.
everything. Society is everything. Even your home is based on society. The way your house is squared is based on society. Everything that you have, your rug, your wall, your TV, is based on society.
It's purchased in the outside world, but
No, it's based on society. That's society's technology that you're using every single day.
true.
Do you got a flat screen or do you got a big projector from back in the days? What do you have?
I got
Exactly. Exactly my point. Exactly. What I'm saying is facts. These are big facts that I'm talking about. And I'm not going to blame society or blame anybody else for what I hold accountable. I hold it accountable for myself. I am me.
That's all we can be accountable for is ourselves.
People need to stop using excuses. You know, on that note, I'm gonna let you go. I'm gonna let you go ahead and close out the night.
All right. Well, thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen, for joining us, and we hope to see you again next week, Tuesday, 9:30. Tap in, tap. I'm tap. I almost said it again. Tap in, tap in. Nah, tap in. Gag order Tuesdays. See ya.
Yes, we the motherfucking gag. Let's get this shit in the building. What up?